right now, it is my pleasure to be joined by one of our favorite guests. He needs no introduction. LSU head baseball coach Jay Johnson. After a very busy weekend of being on the road, our guys at the airport making time for us. Coach, what's going on, man? We cannot thank you enough. How you doing this morning?
Doing all right. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. I know last week's exit really hurt. You could see it in the raw emotion after the game. How do you handle a weekend like this where you're out here preparing, there's still baseball going on? Do you watch any of these games? Do you stay abreast of the situation, or you just distract yourself with grinding?
Yeah, a little bit unavoidable because college baseball has become so popular, which is awesome. And I think, obviously, our team last year certainly helped with that. But really, I tell you, this year was different because, obviously, last year was the first year that I'd ever ended a season without a loss in terms of you won the last game of the season. And so this one was a little harder, for a lot of reasons, to be honest with you, mainly because of the energy and effort our team put in, the fight that they had to stay with the season, and playing really as well as we did in Chapel Hill. And we're, frankly, 2 outs away from, pulling off a pretty awesome feat and getting baseball back home for a super regional. So I'll be honest, I'm not quite over it yet, to be honest with you. But the only way I know how to do it is to get back to work. We've had a successful couple days recruiting, and we got a lot of work to do. So we got to keep going on that.
Coach, what is that schedule like for you? Because baseball is still going on, but you have work to do, like you said, and so you're out there recruiting. And baseball schedule is a little bit different than the football calendar. So for you, what does it look like maybe the last week, and what are you trying to do to make sure that you talk to every recruit that you want to? Because obviously it's very competitive right now with everybody entering the portal already.
Yeah. So just kind of backtracking, we lost Monday night pretty late, and then that was the same day that the transfer portal opened, and then we flew back on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was pretty much taken up all day with our player exit meetings. And then on Thursday, I was actually out and went to see a player, flew back home Friday for an official visit. And then Saturday, got back out and did 2 home visits yesterday. So, and then heading to actually see one of our current players, right now. So kind of hopping around, be back tomorrow, and we got another official visit tomorrow.
So now we're in the it's the classic thing that we hear more and more from college coaches. You're having to do the high school recruiting, you're doing the portal recruiting, and then also you're doing retention recruiting. How do you handle the latter part there? Like how have you developed a system for retention, given that this is a relatively new science?
Yeah, I love our players, and myself and our staff really pour into our players. I don't think it's common, relative to the things that they have available to them at LSU. And I am very proud of what we've done in the 3 years, obviously. And I'm proud of my coaches and the resources we provide them to help them become Major League Baseball players. And for me, that should be enough to retain guys. It's a different era that we live in, and that's okay. And you can't. I've said this to you guys many times. I don't get too caught up in the way the rules are. Do I like something or I don't like something?
Yep.
You just have to adapt, adjust, improvise, overcome whatever you want to. But we got a good group. I'll tell you one thing is the guys that were rolling through my office on Wednesday. The character of what we will have returning is very strong. It's a good starting point from a human being, leadership perspective, and with some talent, getting Chase Shores back and healthy next year is a massive deal. This year looks a little bit different if he's healthy wire to wire. And so to win 43 games, probably without your best pitcher for the entire season, proud of the team for doing that. And that's what I'm speaking to relative to character, Kate Anderson, full bought in, type guy. We'll get Jaden Newt back healthy. So we have a really good start, with some of the pitching staff. Obviously, those freshmen got to play. And I think the experiences that we went through, both in terms of adversity and overcoming adversity, will really, really help us with a solid foundation. And now we got to get a few more players. And that's just the nature of college baseball right now.
Coach, we've talked with you about this before, but obviously, like guys you're recruiting out of high school, there's some that are going to have the opportunity to go to the MLB draft. And I don't know how y'all deal with that, like sweating back and forth, like are they going to get drafted? Are they going to have a number that maybe keeps them, coming to LSU? What are those conversations like? And does it change? Do you think maybe a guy's not going to come to campus and all of a sudden the 11th hour that he does, like how fluid is that situation?
Yeah, I think it's fluid. I think, there's so much information nowadays. Like you get a pretty good idea. They fall into 3 buckets. Number 1, they're gone. Number 2, there's the number 2 group. Number 3, they're coming. Number 2, that's kind of the group you got to focus on keeping. And we have some guys in that, and we actually have some guys with our junior class or draft eligible class. There's about 6 of them that like it could legit go either way. So that's like part of what I'm doing today is laying a foundation for one of those guys to say that they have a great landing spot, should they come back to LSU and help them improve their pro baseball situation. But it's pretty fluid. If you want to be comfortable and know what exactly everything holds this time of year, I don't recommend being a college baseball coach. So we just attack it one player at a time.
Yeah, and you've talked about a ton in the past, but the pitch continues to get stronger and stronger in terms of college maybe being the route to go out of high school over the minors. And you just look at like MLB prospect rankings, and more you see the college players at the top, and you see them every weekend in this league. And so I want to ask you kind of a big picture question that we've been playing with, Coach, or a topic, I guess, where, in football we talk about the Big Two, and it's the Big Ten and the SEC. Well, in baseball it feels like we got the Big Two, and they're already here. It's maybe even further ahead than football. I mean, depending on today's outcome, you'll either have 4 SEC and 4 ACT teams or 5 and 3. And you're someone who has been out west and comes from out there. Like, what do you think the future of college baseball looks like? Is it all going to be centered around the Southeast?
Yes. In as simple as I could. I made a statement. I don't remember if it was on this show or not, but like that I really believed we'd be in first place in any other league, but the SEC. And I don't think I sound like a dummy anymore based on how we played at the end and how the College World Series has turned out. And we did not win, but we took the number 1 team in that other conference. It's going to have 3 or 4 bids to the wire.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa, and Rocky 2, where they both hit the mat, and they got up on the 8 count, and we didn't quite get up fast enough.
Yep.
Now, Coach, will you get a chance, to do something like maybe going to watch some of your former players, like a Paul Skeens? Will you get a chance to maybe go see one of his starts? Obviously, he's been the talk of Major League Baseball. Will you get any kind of downtime to maybe go have a little fun, see one of your former players?
Well, I told him I would do that this summer, so I will definitely come through on that because he came through for me about 19 times last year. So, I owe that guy my life, and I'm so proud of him. And, man, it was really cool, just the other day. And it's like, I mean, all these outings have been awesome, and he's just carving everybody, and it looks like what he was doing through the schedule last year, he's just doing it in the major leagues. But when the dude's striking out Freddie Freeman, and Ohtani for God's sakes, like that's pretty cool. I got to be honest with you.
I just love how smooth he looks, just like a whip. His whole body, just like a whip that builds to that release point. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. Were you in Nick Mangione's wedding? Did I make that up?
Yeah, I went to it.
Okay,
and,
you went to his wedding.
He is one of my best friends, and kind of a weird story. We were at all the whatever you call it, rehearsal dinner. You can tell I'm not a expert, at this type of thing. And this is many years ago, but we were just at the hotel, and just sitting there talking about baseball. The dude's getting married in like 14 hours, but it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's just like, hey, man, I had a room that had 2 beds. He's like, do you mind if I just crash here tonight and then go in the morning? So he's the best. And I got to be honest, if we're not there, obviously I'm happy that he is. And he's put his blood, sweat, and tears into that program and knowing what that looks like. And they're really, really good.
Yeah.
As we saw last year in the Super Regional. And just because you're good, it doesn't mean that you make it all the time. But I'm happy for him and very proud of him.
Would you go so far as to say you have a rooting interest in this Omaha?
I will say this. I respect all the teams, that advanced to College World Series. I would definitely say that would be my horse. And then, I'll be honest, like a lot of respect for North Carolina, too, playing them and Coach Forbes. And that was a great environment. And, it's a week of baseball, remember, my entire life, and in that regional. And I think they have a really good team. And, the other ones, we may not like them, from the fan side of it, but there's a lot of respect, and so it'll be a great College World Series. I think what you're seeing, and this was definitely the case last year, is, most of the best teams are making it through. And last year was a great College World Series, obviously. I don't know how much I'll watch because we got a lot to do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the right teams that are in there.
Well, Coach, look, we can't thank you enough here at OTB for coming on with us every single week, making time for us. I mean, you're out here grinding, like you said, flying all over the place, still coming on, giving us such thoughtful, sincere answers. So a huge thank you from us. Congrats on an awesome season. I know it didn't end the way you wanted it, but like I messaged you afterwards, man, y'all went out on your shield, and that's all you ever want is to be able to look in the mirror and say, I did everything I could at the end of the day, and this team definitely did that. So congrats to you and the boys, and best of luck with this offseason, man.
I appreciate that. Talk to you guys soon.